light. Shadows creep and crawl with every scream. Hear the echoes call. Synths and guitars in a haunting blend. An 80s vibe where the terror transcends. Shocktoberfest, scream until dawn. In your nightmares, the terror's reborn. Lights flash, monsters take flight. Embrace the darkness, it's a metal night.
Hello everyone, Wildman Wes here, and welcome to day 3 of Shocktoberfest 80s Rewind. Outbreak movies have been around for decades. Whether it be the George A. Romero Dead series, a title known as Outbreak, even Contagion within the last 10 to 15 years. However, the motif still lives on to this day. Closing out our block for 1980, we have Cannibal Apocalypse. This movie is definitely a 180 turn from day 2 with Eaten Alive. However, some of the ideas are similar. They're a little similar, not quite. But our movie is about a man named Norman who is a Vietnam vet who's been having nightmares about the time when he was in the war saving his fellow soldiers, and he notices something. Something is different since they've been home. Certain activities like acting out around other people when their emotions are running rampant, where they start eating people. And one of his fellow members of his troop starts doing the same thing. He asks him what's going on, and we find out later that there was a virus within the village that they were in while stationed in Vietnam, where it turns out that they become cannibalistic, angry monsters. Once Norman is able to get his friend over to an insane asylum to figure out how to subdue him, he gets a hold of some of the doctors and nurses and some of the inmates, and now we have a cannibal outbreak. Now the town is divided between those who are infected and those who aren't infected. And Norman realizes that he is infected, and he ends up infecting his wife and the neighbor's daughter, and eventually at the end, with the whole war between the infected and uninfected, Norman and his wife are taken out, and they take out the rest of the people that are infected, or so they think, because Norman's neighbor's daughter Mary and her brother Robbie sit and watch outside the window with a dark grin on their faces. That's the best summary I can give of this movie. It's a very cut and dry film, and I did get a little bit, how do I put this, bored. I got very bored at times with this film. But I am going to talk about what I like and what I don't like about this film. What I do like about this film is we have some good people in the cast. We have legendary actor John Saxon from Nightmare on Elm Street, Black Christmas, Enter the Dragon, so on and so forth. We also have Elizabeth Turner, we have John Morgan, and we also have Tony King in the cast of crazy cannibalistic creatures. The music in this film, I don't know what they were trying to do. They have some sort of military pop during moments of battle. There's also this, because it's 1980, we're getting out of the 70s funk and a little bit of that discotheque era, where it almost feels like music from the soundtrack of Shaft, where there's a lot of jazz going on and a lot of guitar doing the infamous, you know what I mean. If you've seen these movies, you know what I mean. A lot of this story, when it comes to the outbreak as well as people that are not infected trying to reclaim the sanity of the town, it gets very much a Dawn of the Dead vibe. And a lot of it, as I mentioned, the music definitely has a little motif of something out of Dario Argento's Goblin, and though I like the music, it definitely doesn't blend well with a lot of the story. And that can throw you off a little bit, because then you start to wonder, is this supposed to be a serious horror film, or is it supposed to be a non-serious horror film? That it's supposed to be more of a parody or a comedy? When I look at the dialogue and the performances, I see more of a serious horror film. But the music definitely gives it that comedic vibe, and that's where it definitely throws me off. As I mentioned earlier about the whole vibe being somewhat like Dawn of the Dead, it definitely can throw me off a little bit due to the fact that when it comes to movies where people become what we consider mindless zombies, a lot of the people that are infected don't necessarily become mindless zombies, they just become psychotic. And though you can bring out a lot of horror with somebody losing their mind, still being able to talk while inflicting horror on others, it can get muddy. And in this situation, it definitely can stray away from, like, the movie we had yesterday with Eaten Alive, where, yes, these people are very psychotic in this other country, but their dialogue is very calm and very, I wouldn't say soothing, it's just almost deadpan, where that looks more like a mindless zombie. In this situation, it feels like people are just terrorizing a town. I'd rather see them just cause chaos without talking. In this situation, mindless zombies, better seen and not heard. Okay, it is time to grade this film. With everything that I've put from column A and column B of like and don't like, and with my attention span definitely waning and really questioning if this movie was supposed to be serious or funny, I'm very perplexed. However, the performances for the most part were average. And I will say that Cannibal Apocalypse for me gets a B-. I will give it that because maybe there might have been something I missed. But that being said, I don't have time to rewatch it right now and give it a different grade because we've got a lot of films. Well, we hope you enjoyed Cannibal Apocalypse review for Shocktoberfest 80s Rewind. If you've seen this movie before and you agree with me, leave a thumbs up. And if not, I understand. We've got a comment section below. Let us know the things that you really liked about this film. I'm really interested because horror is one of my favorite genres, and I could probably talk about it any day of the week, twice on Sunday. Also, make sure you share on social media, but push that little red button and ring the bell. Let's get this channel up to 500 subscribers before the end of the year. I'd really like to see that. Until then, I'm Wildman Wes, and we'll see you tomorrow for day 4 of Shocktoberfest 80s Rewind, where we move into 1981. Take care, and as always, stay scared, kiddies.